Greg Andrick here, bringing you another Business Freedom Conversation post. So here's another one about housing. There's a lot of debate going back and forth. And again, like the times we live in, it's all an extremely unique situation with precedents and things that we've never seen before. So I have a couple of things for you. This is from Yahoo Finance. And the title of the article was Mortgage Brokers See Middle Class Buyers Taking on $7,000 Mortgages. But they're basically saying that people are willing to take on mortgages at twice the price they would have 18 months ago because they think the high rates, are transitory and will go down. Ooh. One thing one needs to remember is that a 7% interest rate is not unusual, nor is it bad in the history of U.S. housing, say the past 50 years. So people are either getting used to these higher rates, or some people are betting that they're going to go down. It's almost like the way people are looking at the economy now. Some people like Goldman Sachs are saying it's going to be a soft landing. Other people are saying, uh-oh, the Fed didn't allow these rate increases to develop over an appropriate amount of time, and they just kept increasing them, which put more and more and more pressure on things, and that we're already in a period of deflation. And then you throw on top of it a government that censors almost all the news that we see, which makes the statistics that come out of our government agencies really suspect. Kind of have to look at those other ones, like the post I had the other day from the World Bank. Somebody that's more independent and doesn't have someone in a cabinet post that can call them and threaten them if they don't edit or yank the story. So I have some data that's on what mortgage brokers are seeing. And then after that, I have a very short 5-minute review that was on Yahoo Finance of the president of the American National Home Builders Association. And he's talking about what's happening, and it's this unique thing that we've got going on where nobody wants to let go of their 2 and 3% mortgage rates, creating a real shortage of existing homes, which is causing a boom in new home construction. However, here in June, the number of new home starts, which June is a good weather month, usually new home starts go way up in June, they went down. So here we are again, all this confusing, conflicting data that you have to kind of sort out for yourself. But understand, and I think the most important thing to a small business owner, these higher mortgage rates are what your employees, your customers, and your vendors are dealing with. And it's going to affect the prices you charge, the wages you pay, and basically the costs that you incur in your business. So I'm going to take a look at the data that's coming out about these mortgages, and then this interview of the president of the National Home Builders Association. I think you'll find it really interesting and help you guide your business through this very confusing time period. So here's the issues that mortgage brokers are seeing that are affecting what people are doing, and they're mostly doing this with new construction because there's such a shortage on existing prices. A $700,000 mortgage that required monthly payments of principal interest of just $29.89. That was a year and a half ago. Today, a $700,000 mortgage taken out at the current average rate of 6.9, by the way, that first one is at 3.1%, would equal $4,600. So look at this, it's almost a doubling of the monthly payment. Buyers say high mortgage payments will be short-lived. That's what the mortgage brokers are experiencing. One of the things I think you should take that as, those are people that are willing to go to mortgage brokers. A lot of other people are just saying, oh my gosh, I can't afford this, and don't even start that process. So this is interesting, what Mark Twain said. There's lies, damn lies, and statistics. This is the exposure that a mortgage broker is getting. That means these are people that are fallen on the side that, oh, I think these things are going to go down and I'm willing to pay the price now, or they just so desperately need housing, they're willing to pay at the 7% rate. So one mortgage broker put it, it's like the 7 stages of grief. We appear to have entered the acceptance and hope phase. But realize this is too short of a time period. We're talking about 18 months. In 73 to 82, this was 9 years that all this developed over. And remember, what goes up can come down. I think the people that are willing to buy now at current prices at the 7%, may get a really rude awakening once if the economy is on the deflationary side. You may see housing prices drop; they'll be underwater like in 2007 and 8. Prices have remained relatively stable due to the balance of buyers outweighing sellers. This is occurring because people with existing homes can't move and afford the mortgage on a new place, an equivalent place, at the 7% rate. And remember, you've got the Fed that is looking at 2 more rate increases this year alone. And if they do that, you may see that may be the straw that breaks the camel's back and causes housing prices to tumble. But because you have this very unique situation of everybody wanting to hang on to their 2 and 3% mortgages, it's causing this boom in new construction. It's a smaller pool of buyers in the market today, which is skewed towards those with higher incomes. You know, they keep announcing that the median home price has gone up. I personally think that's because, remember, 25% of homes are purchased with cash. And I think we're looking at higher income people, which is driving the median home price up, not necessarily, inflation or anything else. People with lower incomes, and look at these current prices, and with a 7% mortgage, they can't make it happen. So only those who can. Those statistics, I think, are skewing things. So anyhow, here's all the items. Be aware of it, how it affects, like I said, your employees, your customers, and your vendors. And there's going to be a lot of things going on here that are going to affect your business. So take a look at the video from Yahoo Finance. This is Greg Andruch, Yahoo Business Freedom Conversation Post. I'll catch you on the next one.
Continue to ripple through the housing market, even if bulled-up investors in stocks don't care to pay attention. We just saw lackluster housing starts figures for June. The question now is what's next in housing? National Association of Home Builders CEO Jim Tobin perhaps has that answer for us. Jim, good to see you here. Let me frame it to you this way. You have RH, Home Furnishings Company, that CEO, Gary Friedman's painting the housing market as completely falling apart. But if you look at the permits component of the housing start today, signs of life. Where should, or should I say, who should investors believe?
Well, I think what we look at the way housing starts came out today, if we take out the May numbers, which we believe seem to be abnormally high, and maybe that's a little bit more of an aberration now. What the June numbers show us is that we're actually back on trend. In fact, even with this dip, we're still looking at the largest number of housing starts since June of last year. So the demand continues to be out there, but when we look a little bit forward ourselves, we are seeing interest rates are starting to wear on home buyers out there. Permits give us a little bit of a breathing room in the future, but right now it seems that while demand is there, very few people are able to meet those or match those 7% interest rates.
Jim, should potential home buyers, or even those that are selling, should they almost be thinking as 7% or that 7% level as the new normal, or do you think we will see maybe some downward movement here in rates between now and year end?
Yeah, we think that interest rates are going to settle downward over the next 6 months, without a doubt. We're clearly at the end, or about to be at the end, of the Fed's tightening phase. That said, I don't see the Fed easing anytime soon. In fact, we predicted the Fed's going to hold steady for probably another year or so. So I think while interest rates should come down, or at least mortgage rates should come down over the course of the next 6 months, I still think that home buyers need to get used to 6% or even 5.5%. But gone are the days of our 3 or 4% mortgages.
Jim, what should millennials living with their parents right now be doing? You have some money saved, maybe $150,000, $200,000. Do you just bite the bullet, take out a mortgage at these rates, and finally get into a home and get out of your parents' basement?
Yeah, I'm pro home ownership, plain and simple. So for me, if you've got money saved out, you've got money for a down payment, go ahead and dip your toes in. You're going to find more new homes, brand new homes, are for sale than existing homes. We are running into this phenomenon where a lot of the existing homeowners are in those 3 or 4% mortgage rates that I talked about, and they're reluctant to move out into those higher rates. But there are some new products out there, and I would encourage anybody who wants to dip their toe into home ownership and to get in now. if you can find a home that meets your need and you can qualify for it. But it's always a great time to buy, especially with the market where it is. I'm encouraged that it's time to buy.
Jim, when it comes to lot availability for these home builders who are looking to build homes, is that an issue yet? And I guess if it's not yet, is that something that could potentially be a massive challenge here?
Yeah, I think the challenge facing our builders now is finding land to develop. That's a big issue, which means local governments need to help. If we're going to solve the housing affordability crisis in this country, and the only way to truly do that is to build more housing, then we're looking for local governments to embrace the need for homeownership and to encourage homeownership and rental by making sure that they're putting the policies in place to find more land, and then lending will begin to ease over the course of the next 6 months or so. So. There's opportunities out there, but it's gonna take everybody pulling on the homeownership wagon to move forward.
Jim, all I think investors have heard from home builders, among other things, the past 2 years, and that has continued into the first half of this year, is inflation in materials prices, lumber, metal, labor, you name it. Has inflation started to turn in the components that go into building a home?
It has definitely. Lumber reached its peak about 2 years ago. That's now consistently down, which is great to see. In a lot of ways, the building material supply pipeline is whack-a-mole. Some components are up higher than others, while others are down, and then they seem to reverse over the next several months. Give you an example. Right now, electrical transformers and electrical components that power a home are the real drag on home construction and apartment construction right now. But I do think inflation is easing in the component space and will continue to do so. We know how much the Fed is watching all of that and all those inflationary numbers. But from a homeownership perspective, we're encouraged that things are trending in the right way.
Jim Tobin, always great to hear from you, CEO of the National Association of Home Builders. Thanks.